Look at that, will ya?
That is crazy, mate. Crazy. I think we've got the place to ourselves, mate.
Look at that water. Crikey Moses. Get a load of that view. Robe, down to Carpenter Rocks. Some of the best beach run you will do anywhere in Australia. Have a go at that. Have a go at that sunset. That is the view from my swag tonight. We are on our way right now to film the next episode of four-wheel drive action in northern New South Wales. But I'm standing on the beach in South Australia. Let me explain. We've got the camera car over here. We've got my car. I'll get to this beast in just a second. We had a couple of days up our sleeve, so I rang our cameraman. Let me just show you our cameraman. He's over there. Give us a wave, mate. Hey, that's Shoey. Rang Shoey up and I said, mate, you're keen on a bit of a road trip. What did you say, Shoey? He said, bloody oath. So we picked up the camera car, we picked up the D-MAX, and we've come down to the little town of Robe in South Australia. Now, come this way, cameraman. Come this way. Like I said, this is going to be a very different episode. Come this way. The owner of this beast right here is none other than Brett. Now, you'll know this logo. You probably haven't met Brett before. Brett is the mastermind, the brains, the mission control behind Crashpad, Canvas Products, Swags. Brett used to live down this way. He's a local down here. He knows this section of coast like the back of his hand. So our plan over the next couple of days is to go from Robe, south of Beachport, and just keep going and see how we go. On the beach, 2 days. Like I said, not a four-wheel drive action trip. We have got so much in store over the next couple of days, basically just relaxing and taking it easy, because this is a behind-the-scenes look at what we get up to when we're not filming. And that means driving down to Robe, hitting the coast and going that way. Really looking forward to it. You can? Get those fish wraps in and let's get out of here. Yow, I'm excited. We're here on one of Australia's most stunning bits of coastlines, between Robe and Beachport in South Australia. This has to be one of Australia's best kept secrets. It's one of the best coastal hotspots in Australia. And we're going to show you incredible scenery, campsites that'll blow your mind, plus a heap of awesome history. And the best bit, we hardly saw another four-wheel drive the whole time we were here. Trust us, folks, after watching this, it'll be on the top of your bucket list. You'll be dreaming about this one for the next few months. I expected this sand to be a bit softer, but I suppose they've had a little bit of rain.
Yeah, it's not too bad. There's apparently some few soft beaches down south of here, so we'll see what happens.
Have a look at that bay, man. That is insane.
I think that's stunning, and I reckon that might be some people bogged down there.
Yes, they look like they're not digging for fun, that's for sure. That looks like one of those treacherous beaches. I'd be up against the sand dunes there. See, one of the things I found with getting bogged on a beach is that the digging's easy, you'll get yourself out, no problem at all. The one thing that's going to stuff you is if the waves come in. The beauty of getting stuck up by the sand dunes is you've got time on your side. You can dig, you can put your max tracks in, you can, heck, make a cup of tea, take it easy. But when you get stuck down by the water, oh man, that's when things get really stressful. Hey, I might be able to bargain with them. I'll be able to get a beer per max track. Well, how's that? That's a bit coincidental. You see, Brett and I were just talking then about how these beaches get really bloody soft and you've got to stay up high. We come over this bay. These poor buggers down here are stuck now. I've had a chat with them. They're actually pretty stoked to see us. We've got, what, 8 max tracks between us? 8 max tracks, mate. All right, you grab yours. I'll grab mine. Now, mate, there's 2 rules to four-wheel driving on the beach. One is don't get stuck, and the other is always bring someone that can reach your max tracks.
Is that the only reason you bought that?
Well, you couldn't have got stuck in a more scenic spot. So what we're going to do here, because we've got plenty of max tracks, we're actually going to use the 4 that we're not using under the vehicle, just to make a bit of a track here, just to get a bit more momentum. Yep. Yep. I think we might be in with the long haul here. I think we're going to have to use these max tracks to literally build a road the whole way out of here. Done it before, we'll do it again. Well, there you go, these beaches are notoriously soft. That took us, what, 10, 15 goes with the Max Tracks just to get to this part here. Had we drifted down into this soft sand, I don't think we could have got him out. We'd have had to get a tractor down here to get him out. So what we're going to do is stay very high on these beaches as we go down the rest of the way. Start looking for some firewood. That's what we're going to do. Whew, that was surprisingly hot work. I've had to ditch the jumper. Those guys were actually really lucky we came along there. They didn't have anything with them, no Max Tracks, just a shovel. There's no way they were getting out of there. No way they were getting out of there without our help and those Max Tracks. And it just goes to show if you are going to come in here, and it's not what I'd call super remote. I mean, it would have sucked, but they could have walked back in and got help or into mobile range. They weren't getting out today. I could almost guarantee you that. So they're lucky we came along, but we got them out. That's the good news. For us, that ate up quite a bit of time. So we're going to keep pushing on. Looking forward to camp tonight. I'll show you why when we get there. Wow, spectacular bit of coastline, I think you'll agree, and it's steeped in a really rich history all through here. You know, we're talking early explorers that came through from Adelaide, pushing inland, came past here. You know, we've got farming history out here, maritime, a lot of maritime history out here, but you know what, all that only really goes back about 150, 170 years, which, yes, I hear you, is a long time, but this blows my mind. Archaeological studies out here suggest that the early inhabitants of this exact area we're driving through right now go back, wait for this, 30,000 years. People have been living out here for 30,000 years. And we're talking 150 to 170 years of our history. Just goes to show this place so much more than just the bits and pieces that we know about. But you'll agree, absolutely bloody stunning. Look at this, I was just driving along. I just saw this out the window. Sorry, shaky camera work. I said there'd be some. I'll just turn the old girl off. Have a look at this down here. There's a bit of bush food down here. This stuff is called pig face. It's got a terrible name to it. I'll pop the camera down here for a second. There we go. Pop the camera down there. I'll be able to show you it. This stuff's called pig face. It's a coastal plant. Gets grown pretty much all over Australia. Certain times of the year, these pulpy leaves here, they open up and produce this fruit. It's really good. It's got a sweet, salty kind of a taste to it. It's really good stuff. And as you can see here, let me give you a look. As you can see here, there's a whole heap of it. It's just when it's in flower, woohoo! Bane is its other name, B-A-I-N, Bane. And it really was an amazing source of moisture out here for both the Indigenous people and of course the explorers coming through. I'm gonna grab a couple, show the boys. What's going on here, Brett? It's private property, it says here.
Yeah, mate, this is all private property owned by a family. They kindly allow four-wheel drivers to access the beach through their property, so we just got to open and shut the gate.
So what's the go from here, mate? We go through this little village of sorts, and what links us back up onto the beach, does it?
That's it, mate. Just pass quietly through the little village here and then hits the beach.
So this is private property?
Yeah, mate, that's what I understand. I think they're little beach houses and fishing shacks and whatever. They're pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this does remind me quite a bit of home. We've got some little villages like this called like Wedge is one of them, where people put their bush shacks. It's pretty cool. All right, so what's the plan here? We hit the beach and then what? Just continue. I was going to say south, but it's kind of eastish, isn't it?
That's it, mate. We'll take a left on the beach and sort of wind our way down to Beachport.
All right, lead on. Take us down the beach, boys. The whole run south is characterised by sections of inland track followed by sections of beach track. And every once in a while, you pop out into a bay like this. Get a load of it. And for us, a sheltered bay such as this one means lunch. Holy heck, Brett, what do you got on here, mate?
Mate, I've got some fish wraps. Are you keen?
Keen?
And I got some pies, a few sausage rolls. Been in the oven for 2 hours, so...
Keen as mustard,
keen
mate.
As mustard, mate. Keen as mustard.
One thing I've noticed about your car, it very much is tailored to you, isn't it? I mean, look at the size of this thing.
I am tall, mate.
I need a milk crate.
But in fairness, we are on a bit of a lean.
True that. I could pile up some sand. All right, we got enough for the camera guy as well. You hungry, Shoey?
He's hungry. He's hungry.
All right, let's get stuck into it. Have a look before you put the camera down. I want you to do a 360. Show everyone at home the location we're in having lunch. Have a look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's not bad. Quick, while he's looking down there, let's eat his pies. Robe to Beachport. I've heard about it so many times. It's been a long time since I've done the whole thing. Doesn't disappoint. This really is just one of those spots that you've got to do.
Yeah, it's a special little gem, isn't it? Quite unknown, but it's a beautiful place to come.
Oh, completely unknown. You know, I mean, you've got your Capes, your Simos, all the big, you know, your high countries, but very few people talk about Robe to Beachport.
That's it, mate.
Mate, what do you reckon? Campsite soon?
Sounds perfect to me, mate.
There's a tight squeeze coming up over here. I don't know how that's going to go. We've got to get around that headland there. Well, I'll let you go first. That's the plan.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Look at that jagged bit of rock sticking out there. That's just that's just got "Don't get my canopy" written all over it. Ooh. Don't fall in the ocean.
That's a tight squeeze through there, mate.
Not falling in the ocean is another big one. How's she look on that side, mate?
Yeah, you're fine, mate. Come through.
And what do we got here? What do we got?
Wow, this place is incredible, mate. This could be a really, really good campsite.
Pull in here. Throw the swags up over there. Put a steak on. Crack a brewski. Watch the sun go down. Come on! Having pulled into a picture-perfect campsite right on the edge of the ocean, we waste no time in getting set up. Camping at amazing spots like this one is one thing, but what makes it so much better and easier is a cracking camping setup, and the new MITS alloy canopy is certainly that. I can live out of it properly and comfortably for weeks. Everything has its place, and it allows me to take what I need for comfy camping. What do you think of it? Would you run a canopy like this? Almost lost for words. Just come over here for a second. Shoey, mate, he has been absolutely frothing on this. How was it?
Oh, unreal.
Good campsite?
Probably the best campsite I've ever stayed at.
Best campsite he's ever stayed at. That sunset over there, we'll just turn around over here. It's a bit romantic, but have a go at that, will you? That sunset has been next level. The wind's dropped right down. We've got a fire going. Steaks for dinner, a couple of beers. Brett's just put his longs on. It's a little bit chilly, but that's all right. Have a go at that. Have a go at that sunset. This is our camp. This is our camp. We've got the big old fire going. We've got a big old fire going back there. Look at that. Brett's having a brewski. I'm about to put some steaks on. Suck the guts out of life, guys. I tell you what, suck the guts out of life, because you only get one shot at it. Now, I'm just going to turn around one more time and give you one more look. That is the view from my swag tonight. Pretty bloody good. Pretty bloody good. Sunsets, beach camping and beers. Does it get any better? It's the simple things in life that matter the most. And it doesn't get much more simple than camping with your mates. And I'll take that all day, every day. Well, if we thought that sunset was something special, sunrise on the beach doesn't get much better. How good is a night spent on the beach under canvas with the sound of the waves? You just can't help but sleep well. Have a gander at this, will you? Sun's just coming up right now. Wind's dropped right down. That ocean's nice and flat and calm. We've got a fire going and got some bacon and eggs on. Slept like a dream last night. Ooh, we've got another full day ahead of us today. These Crashpad swags, I tell you what, you have to feel them with your own hands and sleep in one yourself to understand why the Crashpad canvas and the material they use are on a different level to so many other products out there. Bacon and eggs on the Barbie plate and the leftovers of last night's fire. There are a couple of ways to start a day, but I reckon this is one of the best. Boys are just about packed up, just about to hit the road. I just wanted to show you something pretty cool. These limestone cliffs here, well, you can see them. They go all the way down there. Something cool about them. Have a look at this. Up in all of here, let's get right up in here, up in here, you can see all these old fossilised tree roots. There's a real big one coming down through here, all up through there, they're everywhere, all the tree roots that used to be, of course, this was obviously quite a forest up through here a long time ago. Now, you remember what I was saying before, in 30,000 years, a lot has gone on this coastline. But that, to me, that is really something special. Fossilised tree roots, right here on the edge of the coast. If you haven't done it, Robe, get on down, drive this beach. She is absolutely stunning. Speaking of which, we're going to get stuck back into it. Oh man, get a load of that. You know, there is, in my humble opinion anyway, no better feeling than beach driving. You know, the process you got to go through. Getting down, airing down your tyres first and foremost, dropping down through the sand dunes till you finally get down onto the beach like I am right now. And then out there, you just got this massive big area of ocean following alongside you. And you're on your way, you know what I mean? You're on your way to your favourite fishing spot or campsite or surfing location. There really is no better feeling than driving along a beach. Of course, you do have to remember to re-inflate your tyres when you get back on the black stuff, but along here, this is simply awesome. We wanted to show you spots like this because unlike some of the trips you see me do, you don't need a big, hugely modified four-wheel drive on aggressive mud terrain tyres to do a trip like this. The D-MAX has got a basic 2-inch lift in it, and right now I'm running a set of quality Bridgestone Jeweller all-terrains. Tyres like this are brilliant for tourers because they're great long-lasting tyres on road and they give you plenty of traction and puncture resistance on dirt roads and beaches like this. I've said it time and time again, you don't need all those expensive modifications to get out here and do this. All you need is to experience it for yourself. Get out here, folks, I tell you, you won't regret it. I've been so excited to show you one of these. Now, we've just bumped into this morning as we've been driving along. This right here, this big open area here, is an ancient Aboriginal occupation site, otherwise known as a midden. Now, take a close look at this. It's the size of the average suburban block, I would say. Sort of a quarter of an acre, maybe a bit bigger. And the depth, well, the depth of it is huge coming up off the beach, and it is comprised entirely of old shells. I think you're getting the picture. What's going on here is that over thousands of years, a mind-boggling amount of time, Aboriginal families have sat up here, eaten shellfish, and then chucked the shells over their shoulder to accumulate a mass of shells the size of the average suburban block and house. Stop and think for a second how long that would take. It is mind-boggling. Everything out there has been free and eaten here for the last 30,000 years. These things, these middens, they really need to be respected. If you see one, have a look at it and just stop and think how long it would take you to pick that shellfish out, throw it over your shoulder and fill up a suburban block. Unbelievable. As Brett just said to me, that out there, it's the world's best restaurant. Mate, what's the go with all your gear? I mean, it's such a well-designed group of products. Clean lines, I don't know, it's just something about the Crashpad design that I really like, mate. What's the go there?
Yeah, mate, look, first and foremost, I pretty much just design gear that I like for myself. So, we design the gear, we rigorously test it, make sure it stands up out in the field.
When I first met the brand several years ago now, that was what sort of stood out for me. Then secondly, just how bomb-proof things looked. There was sort of gear I sort of thought I could use that myself personally and never have to buy another one of it again. I thought if I grabbed a Crashpad swag, that'd be the last swag I ever bought.
Yeah, well, thanks, mate. We keep everything super simple and super tough. You know, Australia's a pretty bloody harsh environment, so it's got to stand up to the rigours, mate.
Now the only thing here that is taller than Brett is his sand flag. Now, we're about to head up over this dune system here, and sand flags really should go on the lead vehicle. It tells people coming the opposite direction because of course you can't see over the top of a sand dune, but you can very easily see that big orange flag flying. That someone's coming over the other side, just keep left, the other person will keep left as well, and that way you avoid any confusion coming over sand dunes, because we've got quite a few, haven't we, up here?
A lot coming ahead, mate.
Okay, that's going to be good. I'm looking forward to that. Right, mate, you take the lead. We'll chuck Shoey down the back. Let's get into it. We're travelling through some pretty swaly country at the moment. Very similar to sand dunes. We've got peaks and troughs, except there's all this vegetation around us. That proves a bit of a problem out here. You see, the sand flag on Brett struck up the front. Sometimes you can't see it because of the trees. So there's 3 rules that I try and stick to in this kind of country. Firstly, keep your speed right down. You don't need to scream over these sand dunes. If you've got your tyre pressures right, you can just creep through them. Number 2, always stay hard left when you come up over the top of one of these peaks, you know, right over to the left-hand side. That way, if someone has sort of dropped the ball a bit and is coming up in the middle, you're going to miss them anyway. And the other real good trick, get your UHF out and just put it on scan. That way, if there's convoys around you in the area, you're going to pick them up, and you're just going to be aware that there are other vehicles around. Keep on vehicle tracks, that's a good sign. So just a couple of tips there in this swaly country. Safety is paramount, never takes holiday.
Hey Graham, you on channel, mate?
Yeah, mate.
A couple of years ago when I was here, I came across this little outstation called Cooler Outstation. You keen to check it out, mate?
Yes, 100%. How far off the beaten track is it?
It's a 3 or 4k trip down here, so it's just down the road, mate.
Yeah, for sure. Lead on.
Cool, mate.
Well, there's not much left of it, but if you use your imagination, you can really pick out what would have been the old Cooler outstation. Now, this really is in the middle of nowhere, here for a very good reason, however. You see, this is all part of a huge pastoral station, but the land out here lacks some very important minerals. So the cattle, when they come out here to graze, don't get the minerals they need. So they need to be moved out and off the property every 2 to 4 months in order to get the minerals they need before they come back in again. And this little spot here was actually built in order to house those cattle for a couple of months where they'd come out here, graze around, pick up the nutrients they needed when they'd taken back to the main station. Now this was in existence from around the mid-1800s down to 1950, which wasn't that long ago. And it was still being used right back until the day when they had to get rid of this, of course, and move the cattle off here because it wasn't viable anymore. The old Cooler outstation. What you haven't seen, however, is that our cameraman, who is currently filming me, just about wet himself because a huge snake just jumped out from underneath there and he thought he was gone for. Cooler outstation, I tell you what. She's a ripper. You going up there now, mate? You're going to go and have another closer look, get some details? he's so not keen. We're just having a look around the homestead here. Shoey's on edge because of the snakes, and I noticed a bit of a sound. I looked over there. Have a look at the size of that swarm of bees. It's bigger than a basketball. It's like that, a super big swarm of bees. So now, Shoey's decided they didn't leave the homestead because of the poor grazing. They got the hell out of here because of the bees and the snakes. And I reckon he might be onto something. What's that on your leg, bro? Just jokes, just jokes. From the outstation, we're keen to continue pushing south. The day's getting longer and we've got to make a mile. It's not long and we're back on that jagged limestone coast that the Robe to Carpenter Rocks beach run is so famous for. Brett's got one last little stop off though that he assures me I just have to see. Lake Bonnie, what's that all about?
Mate, when we get up over this rise here, there is a massive, massive lake over here. It's called Lake Boning.
That's pretty unique to be able to have the ocean on one side and a freshwater lake on the other. Haven't heard of that before.
No, it's a bloody big lake too, mate.
The short run up over these sand dunes just south of Canunda takes you to an outlook over the top of the massive Lake Bonnie. Hang about way. Well, I'll be stuffed. Look at that. Just to the east of Lake Bonnie, of course, is the Lake Bonnie Wind Farm. And it's amazing to see a body of water of this magnitude so close to the ocean. Didn't think that'd be there. It's a freshwater lake with a surface area of a staggering 79 square kilometres. From up here, it's a pretty good display. With the lake under our belts and the shadows getting longer, it really is time for us to make a mile. But not before we've enjoyed just a little bit more of this magnificent coastline. Will you get a load of that view? I'm somewhat speechless. I just am starting to think this could be Australia's best beach run. I've seen some beaches. I pride myself on coming from Western Australia where the beaches are second to none, but this, look at this. I just seem to think that maybe I've been wrong. South Australia. Robe, down to Carpenter Rocks. Some of the best beach run you will do anywhere in Australia. Look at this. The proof is in the pudding. Look at it. All right. Well, that was bloody spectacular, mate. We're talking a huge lake, a massive sand dune, and then the ocean on the other side. You don't see that very often.
No, mate, fairly rare, I think. It's been a pretty special day.
Special part of the world, mate, but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, mate. Let's cover a bit of ground, because we've both got to make a mile, eh? Now, Brett's got obligations back in Melbourne. As for Shoey and I, we've got to meet up with Shauno and the boys and get back to work. So, whilst it guts us to do so, we've got to call this trip quits. Mate, in all honesty, that is some of the most stunning coastal scenery I've seen anywhere.
It's fantastic, isn't it? We started Robe, we worked down to Beachport, through Canunda. It's wild, it's untamed, it's bloody brilliant.
And it's not on, I mean, I knew of the Robe to Beachport. I've done that once before, like I say, about 15, 16 years ago. But this whole stretch of coast, you can keep going, I'd never heard about it.
It's incredible. It's so much to see and do here, like, can't recommend it enough.
And we've seen one car today.
One car.
Admittedly, we saw him twice, but we've only seen one car today. I don't know, folks, this has been a real opener for me. When Brett said, come on down, I'll show you some of these magnificent beaches, I thought, yeah, whatever, I come from WA, but this has truly blown my mind, mate. It really has. It's got to be done.
Mate, happy to show you around.
Well, speaking of which, if you've enjoyed this kind of format, let us know, because Brett and I got a bit of an idea. We're heading up, well, we're not going to say, but it's a place I've only ever been to once. You're a bit of a local.
Bit of a local, mate.
And he reckons we could do 3 or 4 days along some of the most stunning inland scenery that I've ever seen. Mate, Shoey and I, are going to try and head north now. We might try and get to Mount Gambier, roll the swags out somewhere. You're heading back to Melbourne. You're going to take your entire canopy off.
Entire canopy, mate, new canopy. It's going through a bit of a facelift.
I look forward to seeing that. So we're going to make a mile, mate. So we will follow you out of here for another couple of K, and then we'll branch off. Absolute pleasure, my friend. Absolute pleasure. Let's do it again. I've been stoked, absolutely stoked. Shoey, put the camera away. We're getting out of here, mate. He won't want to go.
He won't.
He absolutely loved it.
He's had so much fun, hasn't he? He's had a ball.
We'll catch you next time, folks. All right, I'll follow you out, mate. That's got to be one of the most surprising and perhaps best beach run I've done anywhere in Australia, folks. If you think your hometown or state has got a better beach run, put it in the comments below, because if it's better than Robe to Carpenter Rocks, I've got to do it. For now, thanks for watching, folks. We'll catch you next time.